Recording in progress.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I just dropped my matcha green tea off of my desk right as we were about to start. So that was a mess. So had to attend to that. So sorry about that. All right. That is how my morning is going. All right. Um, hello. Welcome, everyone. I decided to switch my desk around for today. Um, And this is my western window. I wanted to show you all of the plants that are there, but it's so bright. It's just white. Um, but there are a bunch of plants behind there, but you can't even see them because of the light. So that's what I'm saying. My morning. All right. Um, But welcome. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're tuning in from. Welcome. Today is our open forum. So all things planty. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. Um, Let me see here. Oh, hi from you're in Connecticut. Hello. And hello, Linda. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yeah, definitely let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm in New York City. I'm in Queens. Our weather has been really crazy over here. Um, we've had a lot of, really hot days and then it just drops super fast. My voice, sorry. Um, yeah, so we had a couple days where it was like almost 80s, almost 90 degrees here, Fahrenheit, and then it just gets really chilly. Right now, yes, though over the weekend it was super humid. There were a lot of rainstorms here. But right now our humidity is at 39%, saying it's about 72 degrees, 72.6 in the house right now. So it's pretty comfortable for our plants. I have quite a few even here. And then on the window, but you can't see. I'm gonna see maybe if I move my computer, maybe there it goes. So there are plants all along the edges of the window. I have the curtains because it was so bright, but there's pots that are literally bolted into the side of the window frame, and then there's a bunch there, and then we have our string of hearts. So we have the string of spades, the regular kind of string of hearts, the chain of hearts, and then the variegated one as well. I moved that. I had that one, the variegated one I had behind my desk, and I decided to put it up there because it's going to get a lot more light. And the one that I had bought, the little one, this one over here that I had bought, I think it was at the end of February. It's already like over a foot long. And it was in the kitchen window, our western window in our kitchen. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna move it here and have them all right next to one another because it's gonna keep loving that light. So I'm gonna leave it there. Um, yes, Brenda, I can totally do a peperomia class. Oh, so upstate New York. So it is 42 degrees and overcast. We're It's a couple clouds, but we're seeing some blue. It was pretty overcast the entire weekend. It was pretty terrible. Um, oh yes. So a lot of folks are approaching the end of their frost dates. So usually it's pretty safe after Mother's Day, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. After Mother's Day, it's relatively safe, right, to put some plants out and things like that if you don't want to risk having a big freeze come through. Um, Oh, thanks. Brian just put a ring light since the back is so bright. I did want to show you something, and so we found these two lovelies at Home Depot. So Home Depot is starting to carry some pretty uncommon house plants that they used to not carry, and it's been really cool to see their their like the plants that they have available change. So they were selling this Baltic blue. And so I had a really, really pretty Baltic blue that completely did not survive my trip to Costa Rica. So I really wanted to get one back. So this is an epiprenum. It's so pretty. So it's in, what folks call pothos. Absolutely beautiful. This one only has a little bit of fenestration, but that's okay. I really love the color. So I was pretty excited, and it's pretty large, and there's several plants in here with a couple shoots, as you can see. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good catch. It was the only one there. So I grabbed it, and I'm very excited with this guy because this was definitely something that I wanted to replace. And then this was the even more miraculous one. Let me move here because I think, yeah, there we go. The sun is deciding to come right there. So there were two of these, and Brian decided on this one. Now this one was really a surprise. I never would have expected to see this in a Home Depot anytime soon. So this was pretty surprising. So it's a philodendron. So the philodendron Sotoroi. So these were going, gosh, I remember when cuttings were going for even like up to $200. Still I've seen like a nice size cutting going for $80 to $100. So to see a small plant and this was what 1998. So $19.98. So $20. Yeah. never would have thought. This was a plant that we saw in the rare plant shop that we used to go to, planted by Christie's. It was never something that was as cheap as this. So it's crazy. It's seriously crazy to see. So check out your big box stores. They really might have things that you just wouldn't even realize it's dropping. And I've been seeing a lot with this company. So proven winners, Leaf Joy. So Leaf Joy, they were the ones that had the big Mayoi that I also bought from another Home Depot like 2 months ago as well. So they're starting to carry some really interesting things. Costa Farms is starting to put out some really interesting types of succulents too. So I've bought quite a few different species of euphorbia. So plants that again were not very common. It was something that you would have to definitely kind of look for a private seller or try to see if you have a local, plant shop in your area that specializes in more rare, kind of hard to find plants. So having like super great luck. I mean, finding these great unicorn plants at these big box stores. So we're going to keep, checking them out. Because usually on the weekend they're putting everything out, and yeah, we have some incredible finds. So we're gonna keep doing that. Oh yes, Aglaonema care. So it really depends on the Aglaonema. So Linda says, I just adopted 2 stumps recently, one with 2 leaves and the other has lost its leaves. Not bad for $3. No, definitely not bad for $3. But I'd like to be sure of what to do with them. Yeah, so it really depends on the Aglaonema. So there are different Aglaonema species. There's some that would prefer a little higher humidity, but overall, they want a nice, well-draining soil. So make sure you don't put them in anything that is super muddy, right? Like a brown, a peat heavy brown mix. So you want to avoid that. Let me see, with the Aglaonemas. So because there's like things that are, yeah, that they're a little bit more sensitive. But if you're getting like the common Aglaonemas, then yeah, they well draining mix. They want to dry out, but they don't want to be parched. So that's the thing with Aglaonema. They want to dry out, but they don't want to go through a drought period. So unlike something like philodendrons, where they want to be soaked and then they want to just dry out and then get watered again. With Aglaonema, they want to start to dry, almost be dry, and then get watered again. So they never really want to go through a serious drought period. If you kind of withhold too much water, they can just go from kind of, they'll kind of do that little fainting thing when they are starting to get really thirsty, and they can very quickly go from that to crisp leaf. It's a very quick transition. So yeah, so just have keep an eye out. I think it depends on where you're located. It could be, if it's relatively warm in your home, you would probably find yourself watering them maybe about every 7 to 10 days if it's pretty warm. Yeah, but they don't want direct sunlight, so pull them away. They like bright indirect sun. And in humidity, I mean, Aglaonemas can be a little touchy with humidity, so I would say probably don't go below 40. Maybe 40, above 40 is good. So if you'd want to
Not
kind of
much.
stay within there. Oh, hold on.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I
Yeah,
my volume
one-
was really low. Sorry about that. What
No.
was
I just wanted to also ask, with the one that's I got it with no leaves. Actually, it's a wider stalk.
okay?
So maybe it was the original plant, I'm not sure. And it's about as big around as your pinky, about the same length, but the tippy top part has it's crispy. So
Okay.
is it going to sprout another leaf, or is that, should I just sit and wait with that one?
So the top part, that
Yeah.
kind of where it got chopped.
Yeah, it seems, I
Yeah.
don't know, it looked like it had a sprout that died, So what does that mean?
So if it had a sprout that died, I mean, it's been probably through, it might not have enough energy. That could be a reason. If you have like a stalk that just is not putting out more vegetation, so more leaves. Have you
It's not
checked, have you
rotted.
had I'm sorry?
I said it's not rotten. The other one
Okay.
looks about almost, those leaves are about the size of a philodendron leaf. There are two, and there's a new nice green shoot coming out. That's why I said, well, I've got two, 50-50 here. But
Yeah. I mean,
so-
the growth won't grow from that flat part where it got chopped, but it will grow from the sides.
so is it going to branch out then?
So it would, yeah. So that where it was actually sliced, like that stump part, that if it was a top cutting, or was it a bottom cutting?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I'll have to see how this plays out, because the very tippy top of it looks now like like I said, there was a sprout, but it looks like a claw,
Yeah.
up the top, so should I cut that one back again?
I mean, you can, if the leaf died, you can definitely do that. So you
Okay.
can cut it back.
Oh,
Then with
good.
the two sprouts out the side, I think somebody else is
Yeah, hold on, there we go.
They're
I just
unmuted.
yeah.
Okay. But anyway, would then I get, after I cut that, maybe go back about a half inch because it's now about 3.5 inches tall and, fairly thick. So if I cut it back maybe a half inch or something like that, should I do, like just completely horizontal or a diagonal cut? Or, and then after I cut it, would two branches kind of come out? Because I don't remember what the growth looks like for this.
Okay. I wouldn't say to take that much off. If you had just that dead leaf, if it looked like it was a dead sprout,
Yeah.
you can just cut that back.
Oh, just cut it off.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
don't want to disrupt any nodes that might be in that area. So I wouldn't
Oh,
cut it back, especially if it's such a tiny piece.
yeah,
Um,
it's little. It's little. And I've never grown one before. I've grown so many other things, but this is a surprise. And I just peeled off the sticker to see what kind of a bargain I got. It was listed for $18.99 and I got it for $3.
I love those deals. I love them.
Okay, well, I'll give it a start and try, and maybe the soil, maybe I'll just let it go for a little bit because I only got it a couple, 3 weeks ago. Wait for
Yeah.
a teeny bit, but I think I need to give it a little bit more light and less water, but I wasn't giving it too much water, but maybe, yeah, I think I know what to do with it now. Thanks, Jocelyn.
Oh yeah, you're very welcome. And so and keep in mind, and this is for everyone, when you have those stumps, where they might even just have like one or two leaves, or sometimes they have no leaves at all. So you
Right,
do want to water them, but yes, make sure not to overwater them, because they are only able to use up all that water effectively if they have the leaves to use for photosynthesis. And so if it has like one leaf or two leaves, they're not photosynthesizing as much as they would when they were full of leaves. So you could easily overwater that plant. So yeah, so keep
thank,
that keep
yeah,
that in
oh,
mind.
I just thought of something else. I'm so sorry.
No,
But
you're
anyway,
fine.
but that other one that does have the two leaves, was that like a shoot that's off of the mother plant, or was that a cutting, do you think? How
So
do they send out runners or shoots and things like that to, get
so
fuller?
from my recollection with Aglaonema, I think they grow very similarly to Dieffenbachia, where they kind of have like the cane. Um,
Right. It looks
and
like a
then
Death cane with a bigger,
yeah,
thicker old one.
yeah, and they'll shoot out kind of other rhizomes, kind of other runners,
Oh, so
if
that's
I'm
the one that,
recollecting correctly.
so that's the one then that has the two leaves, that because it looks really green and young, and this other one looks kind of, it's been through a lot.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
but
Well, it'll be,
best of luck.
yeah, thanks. And I'll let you know how it goes.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right.
Let's see. Oh, so Irma says, how do you care for an indoor pineapple plant that has a pineapple growing on it? Great question. So pineapples are bromeliads. So they are related to like air plants, right? So these would
Mhm.
you do see them growing in plantations in soil. Um, so with these guys, they also like a really well draining mix. So something that isn't gonna kind of hold water for really long periods of time. Something that I mean, they do like to get their water. Yeah. But they do want to kind of dry out in between. So you might find yourself watering them also like maybe about every 10 days or so, unless it's very, very hot in your area. If it dries out super, super fast, if you find yourself, it's been 5, 7 days, especially if you keep them outside, they will dry out much faster. So if we're talking indoors, yeah, 70 degrees, you'll find yourself probably watering it about every 10 days or so. But if it's a warmer situation or you're putting it outside, that it might need water a little bit sooner than that, maybe like at least like once a week. But really well draining soil. with these guys, they like a lot of sun. So you definitely want to have them right by a window. If you have them outside, just be mindful of like a western or southern exposure because it could cause them to get burnt. So you might, if that's your exposure, you would have to use something like a shade cloth or just offer some protection maybe on your porch if you have a porch or something that has a slight cover to it if you have a western or southern exposure. um but if you have like a eastern, northern might be a little too gentle, but if you have an eastern exposure, you can put that right up against the window. um they do well under grow lights, I know that. I've seen quite a few people grow those, like there's pink ones. I've always wanted to keep one. uh I really, that's on my list. I haven't gotten a pineapple plant. There was actually someone yesterday that was selling 3 plants for like $20. I was so tempted. It was like a sugar something pineapple plant. Sugar. Oh, I can't.
I grew it from a pineapple. Have you tried that?
No,
So
that is
everybody, all you do
awesome.
is you cut off the top of a store pineapple and then you peel off, you peel off the bottom and you see these little roots coming out.
That is
So I made-
awesome.
And so we have too many now.
Oh,
We have a whole, I don't know if you could see, we have a whole jungle of pineapples in our hall now. Can you see that?
oh my God, hold on. Let me spotlight you.
So there's
Oh,
just one that has every year it's been growing a pineapple, but it just doesn't come out that very sweet.
wait.
You weren't able to see?
Hold on. Yes, I was just trying to spotlight you, but for some reason it won't let me spotlight.
Oh, that's okay, but it's
Oh, there we go.
very easy to grow. They grow like crazy and they keep getting new shoots and then you just plant them.
That is
You
so
plant-
awesome. That is so
Okay.
cool. I love their color too.
Yeah, it gives a tropical look to the house.
Oh, absolutely. I have not tried to grow my own in terms of from the top part of the pineapple. Uh I haven't. We don't eat enough pineapple for me. I think the last time I had pineapple was probably in Costa Rica, but that would be a really fun project uh to to get one just to see if we could grow it here.
Yeah, you just plant it right into the soil after you expose they look like little worms, the roots.
Oh, that's awesome. And you have so many. How many do you think you have?
Yes, we have about 8. If I think that's enough, we're not gonna try to grow anymore.
That is so
Yeah,
cool.
we do put them outside, but then when it was growing a pineapple last summer, I'm in Connecticut, a squirrel, when it was looking almost ready, it took a bite out of it. And then luckily we were able to just cut that part off, but I don't think once it starts really looking ripe, I'm gonna bring it inside next time.
Oh, that is awesome. That is so cool.
Thank you.
Oh man. Everyone, we need to start growing pineapples now.
Just look it up online. It shows about peeling off the root.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so awesome.
I could do a demonstration another time. All right,
Oh, yes.
I'll get a pineapple and I'll show you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all
That
right.
would be awesome. Yes, and everyone, if you have these cool, this is so cool. If you have something like this, like please share it away. That's awesome. That would be so cool. Oh, that is awesome. I'm taken away, especially just by that color. I love that like blue green. It's like a almost like a
Yeah,
gray. It's such a pretty color. Yes,
Yes.
a super demo. Somebody said a super demo. Yes, exactly. No,
Okay.
that's epic. Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. That'd be so, so cool. Oh no. So Gabby says, my orchid is thriving, which is wonderful. Congrats. But I'm afraid my pothos are dying. How is this possible? Can I show you my plants? Yeah, absolutely. Let me see, Gabby. Let me just find you here. And I can spotlight you. Where to go? Gabby, Gabby, Gabby. I do not see your name.
Can you see me?
Hold on. Ah, there you are. Yeah. I was going through trying to find you. There you go. Awesome sauce. Okay. Hello.
Okay. You see me. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So check this. I'm going to flip my screen. Look at this. Remember I showed you this and I'm like, what am I going to do with this wacky plant? Well, anyway, let me tell you, I was given this plant when I started a new job 4 years ago. And it was a big orchid with flowers. It looked like this, but taller. Then the pandemic came at some point, and I like left it in my office because we were all like run for the hills. We all had to leave. And then it like basically died. The whole thing died. I brought it back to life. I do not know how, because I do not have a green thumb whatsoever. And then this is like, since the pandemic, bringing it back to life. I'm so excited.
That is so
Now,
gorgeous.
the ironic thing is that here are my pothos, right? 2 of them. So what happened was they were doing really, really well. And then I repotted them. And I heard that this sometimes does it. I mean, I used the right soil. I did everything right. But I mean, it's been like this for like 3 weeks. It's really bad. And like, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, it felt a little dry. I put water in the saucer and it sucked it up really, really fast. I gave them a little bit more and it sucked it up, but it hasn't like bounced back. And they're really like looking sad,
Yeah.
What do you think is the issue and what do you think I can do about it?
So have you fully saturated the soil? So like were you
Well, when I put it in the new soil, the soil was kind of like damp.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just like was watering it normally.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like now? I mean, it's damp, I mean, not on the very surface, but like just below it's just not, yeah, they're both damp. And this is like, I watered them like, I don't know, 2 days ago because I just don't know what to do.
Yeah. So this can commonly happen. It's called transplant shock.
Right.
And so this is when you repot a plant. Sometimes it can happen even when folks do root divisions, where
Right.
you're separating plants out into different pots. So the
Well,
fact
actually,
that-
I didn't divide the roots because this has like three kind of separate things, and I remember I couldn't separate them. They were too entwined. This one's only one, and this one was from a cutting that I did, and they were doing so well. All of this was doing so well before I repotted them, and now it's been a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, yeah, I mean, it's transplant shock. It's always this a big risk that we take when we
Yeah.
when we repot. I mean, I would just say you kind of have to let them kind of settle in. I would let them dry out a little bit before you water them again.
So that's what I did do. That's what
Okay.
I did do. I was like, I don't know if I'm overwatering them or underwater. So I let them totally dry out, and then I watered them again, and I was like, now they're gonna bounce back, and they didn't.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you might start to get some yellowing. Some
Yeah.
leaves, you might get
I am
some
on
leaves
one
drop.
of them. One of them's getting
Okay.
yellow, and the other one is dark green.
Yeah, so it could have been that the stress was just too much. So usually what's happening is that the roots were disrupted basically. And so
Right.
you can see the leaves, they're curling, so they're kind of
Yeah.
curling that way. So that usually is a sign of dehydration.
Oh.
So what's happening is that the roots are still kind of, in a state of of shock where they're not basically effectively uptaking water at this point. And so therefore, even though there's water available,
Mhm.
then what's happening is that the plant is just, it's not working right now how it should be working. So you might see that leaf drop. And again, it's a big stress. It's a big stress, especially during the repotting process.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're messing with the roots, what we're doing is we're kind of rubbing off or
Yeah.
ripping off these really delicate root hairs
Mm-hmm.
that are on the roots, that those are the ones that are taking in that water. So
Right.
all you can really do is kind of see if it'll bounce back. If it was just too much stress, it'll drop all the leaves, but then what you could do is you could kind of start over with those vines. So just because
Do
the leaves,
propagation again.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you could do that. What you could do so that you don't kind of upend them again with removing them, you could take the vine and kind of circle the pot and use floral pins to kind of hold them down into the soil, and then so that so the nodes are coming into contact with the soil and they should root up for you, and that usually stimulates them to start producing more growth.
Mhm.
So that's
You mean as it is, like put it in like this? Or you
I
mean
mean,
you're
you
talking
could do
about
that. You
cutting?
could do it now. You could totally do that now, or if I was just saying, if it does end up losing its leaves, and you do want to,
That looks like this is old though. That's been there.
yeah,
This
that looks
root.
like a aerial root. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. I guess I'll just try it out. I hope that they bounce back. I know when I did water the bottom, it like sucked it up like really fast. So I thought that was a good sign. I'm like, oh, so
Yeah.
should I wait? Should I
Well,
not water
what's
them again?
yeah, what's so with terracotta sucks up
Mm.
water really
Mhm.
effectively. It pulls moisture away from the plant, and then as the soils from the soil, and then as the soil starts drying, kind of releases that water back into the soil. So that's why it's great for plants that don't like wet feet, that like kind of having
Oh, okay.
a little bit more moisture control, because they can dry out real nice for you. So that's why
Well,
it's probably sucking that up really fast.
I replanted another one at the
Okay.
same time, and it was in a plastic container, and that one's doing well. Do you think that that's part of it? I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna disrupt these any more than they already have been and
Yeah.
replant them in plastic. But I don't know. I guess your advice would just be to stick it out.
I would stick it out because yes, disrupting them further is probably gonna really kind of be the last
Yeah,
be the last
yeah.
straw. I mean, personally for when you have these kind of like one vine or just a couple, I would probably put them into a nursery pot. I would have probably put them into a nursery pot to kind of establish and grow more. So usually with pothos, if you're gonna put them into terracotta, you want it to be a nice full plant that has a nice developed root system.
Mhm.
Terracotta might dry out too quickly
Nice.
for when you're starting to establish very small young plants.
Well, they were actually established. I mean, I transplanted them from other plants. They weren't like this one was from a propagation, but this one wasn't. This has like been a plant for a long time. And I just moved it to a different pot because I needed the pot it was in for something else, which is doing amazing, by the way. And this one kind of sacrificed its life for the other plant, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. All right. Well, I guess I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Please let us know.
Yeah.
Geez, yeah.
And I wanted to also show you, I am a native New Yorker in Philly now, but you know, I want to represent.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'll keep you
Yeah.
posted.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. That orchid is so gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, wow. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's everyone. Yeah, that's a big risk when we repot plants. It's yeah. I hate it when I think especially if I repot something. I was just looking yesterday at, I have a ponytail palm that I bought that was really snug in the pot. It's not root bound yet. It definitely still has room for its roots. It's just the pot is just, I feel like it's putting too much pressure on the base of the stump. So I feel like I might not do a whole thing where I disrupt the roots. I think I might just find a pot that's slightly larger and kind of just take it, put it in and like backfill. So it's like minimal disruption. So I might do that because it's looking like it's a little tight in that pot. It's a really really cool looking ponytail palm. So I might do that. I also have another ponytail palm that I have that was 3 and I didn't realize there were 2 more in there. And so there's 5 ponytail palm babies because they're still pretty. They look like little onions. And they're all in this pot. And I did repot that over the weekend. I put them into a slightly larger pot because I was like, holy moly, there's 5 of them. I had thought that the little shoots were kind of part of like one of the 3 and I just realized no, they're 5 individual plants. So I think I'm gonna wait to separate them before, you know, I'm not gonna repot them right now. But yeah, someone was just asking about peperomia care. Hold on, I have a big this is my poultry grit. I was adding some poultry grit to some of my plants over the weekend, so I left this here. But yeah, peperomia are awesome. There's so many different species of peperomia. So again, you always have to kind of see, well, where does yours kind of fall? With ripple peperomia, we're talking about something that is going to be a very thirsty kind of peperomia. They have very thin kind of stalks. They tend to have to end up being watered about once a week or so. Yeah, those, I don't have much luck with ripples. I've had all different colors of ripples, but I think for me, because of our large collection, I tend to kind of go from section to section every 2 weeks for watering. So some of these plants don't need watering for like 3 to 4 weeks, and so they have their own schedule. But for the most part, a lot of our plants get watered about every 10 to 14 days. And I that wasn't a good schedule for for a ripple. And if I would remember, obviously, I usually keep the plants that are much more sensitive in our kitchen. I either keep them in our kitchen or keep them here in the living room, where by my desk, where I can kind of see them. They're in my eye line, so that I am more quick to to water them. But yeah, so if you have a very busy life, while the ripples are absolutely beautiful, they are so beautiful, a ripple peperomia probably wouldn't be best. I would recommend more succulent peperomias. So one of my favorites is the obtusifolia. And so this is a variegated one. It has some white edges here. This one's great. I had this one in the kitchen. I had this one in the kitchen for a little while, and it was really exploding, and it was I felt like it might do a little bit better, but it started getting some burnt. So the new leaves were coming in and then they were burning. So I was like, okay, that probably where I have it is a little too close to the window. So I brought it here. So it's still getting the same type of light, but now it is farther away and it's been exploding. So these are all new leaves. So this all these sections here, it's even putting out, here we go. It's putting out more growth. So it's been exploding. So when I started, it was like here. And so it really likes this spot. So bright indirect light. These are interior plants in the wild. So you know, they want that light, but yes, they can get burned. With our western window, it's in a courtyard, so it's like a little cube. So it's slightly obstructed, so it's not as strong as western light would be usually. So I kind of get away with putting certain plants directly in that western window that otherwise wouldn't wouldn't like it because of that kind of blockage, right? So they're getting some really bright light, but it's not as intense. It's not as intense. With this peperomia, so this is a peperomia I just got, and this is the peperomia maculosa, so also called espejito, which means little mirror. Now this one's absolutely gorgeous. New leaf coming in, as you can see, absolutely gorgeous, huge leaves. This one's really cool. This one actually has the person who sold it to me has it with this reservoir. And so it does take up water. Over the weekend, I actually had to fill this up. So it was like down here. So it pretty readily takes up that water. It's in pond, so it's not in a like a soil mix. It's in this what's called lechusa. I think it's lechusa pond. It's a mix of different types of rock. It's like different types of like lava rock and things like that with like minerals that it basically is a great substrate for plants that you're trying to grow kind of hydroponically, so in water. This is absolutely beautiful specimen. It's currently living on my desk now because it doesn't want that straight light. So having that kind of pulled away is best. But yeah, peperomia, a lot of peperomia are epiphytic. So they do grow in trees. You want to make sure that you're not putting them in a really yeah, they want a lot of air exchange around their roots. So something with a lot of perlite, maybe some leca, wood chips. So if you're going for a substrate mix, that would work really well. You want to just avoid something that's really peat heavy. So the ripple peperomias do appreciate a little bit more peat because they like wet feet. So they like to stay moist for a little bit longer than the more succulent types of peperomia that do not appreciate it. And so yeah, so you'll find that with the ripples you can lean a little bit towards having some more peat, or you could add something like even have a little bit of like worm castings. They will do really well with that. With the more succulent ones, yeah, you can put a little cocoa coir in there. I mean, I've found this one's in pon, that one is in my mix. So the other peperomia obtusifolia. So that one is a mix of There's poultry grit, cocoa coir, horticultural charcoal, leca, a little bit of succulent soil, wood chips, and worm castings. So a little bit of worm castings. So a nice kind of airy mix. And I actually water this guy about every 2 weeks. So barely, it does not get watered every week. It will start to rot if I do that. I do have this one in a plastic pot. So these can be kept in terracotta, but I just found that with the terracotta, once they're dry, they get really, really dry. So every 2 weeks is like a sweet spot with this one, and the plastic kind of holds on to that moisture just enough where it's not holding on to the point where it's starting to rot out my base, like the bases here, but it's just enough. So I don't think I will switch this out to terracotta until it's probably a lot substantially bigger. And then I might consider changing it to terracotta. But for now, I use a nursery pot with my mix, and so far so good. It's a really lovely plant, and I really recommend these. These are also non-toxic. So if you have pets, they come in different colors. You can get them. There's the jelly. I really recommend that one. It has like pink, it has more kind of narrower leaves that are really, really pretty. That one's great. There's the green ones as well. There's also are they called marble? I think they're a marble peperomia. And they have just really kind of splashy variegation rather than just the edge. So there's quite a few that you can get that are kind of peperomia obtusifolia. Yeah. Yes, Linda, yes. This one that I was showing is a peperomia obtusifolia. And the other one that I showed here is a peperomia maculosa. I'm in love with this plant. I literally just look at it. Just the size of the leaves. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Really, really beautiful plant. I am, doing exactly as the seller told me, because I want to keep this plant happy and thriving because it's absolutely gorgeous. It's been on my wish list for a really long time. I really like peperomia. Like peperomia, ripsalis, and euphorbia are my favorite groups, my favorite genera of plants. So yeah, that wish list is pretty long. Terry, many of the oxalis plants appear to have white marks on them. It started with an older plant and now it's on the newly grown ones. The app I use says it's leaf miners and I should use pesticides. Maybe it's something else. Ooh, okay. White marks. All right. So if it's a leaf miner, it literally looks like there's like a little road kind of going through your plant. So let me share the screen. Here we go. To show you. So leaf miners usually happen more so, leaf miners usually happen on outdoor plants. I see them happening a lot on snake root, for instance. So it looks much more like this, right? And so these, it
It
really
doesn't look like that, no.
okay. So I don't
No.
think, yeah, this is something you typically see outside. I have never heard of leaf miners indoors. I mean, it could very well be, especially if you have a plant that you're kind of bringing in and bringing out. My guess is it could be thrips. So thrip damage, it does, they do eat the chlorophyll. They kind of scrape the chlorophyll. And so you might see kind of like this where it looks like there's
Yeah.
been chlorophyll removed. So let
Yeah,
me see.
I don't know. I guess I can show you.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm on my Mac, so I guess, can you see me? There you
Yeah.
go. Let me show you the worst case one. Let's see. I'm not sure. Let me just show you. Can you see that?
Yeah. Huh.
Um, whoops. There we go. And this is really weird. That's better, right?
Yeah.
See? The leaf there.
Hmm.
And so this plant is on one side of the room. And then I'm starting to see it on the, whoops. I lost you there.
Oh.
Oops. You can probably see me, but I lost it on my screen.
Oh. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
anyway,
I can see you.
so anyway, so what do you think? I hope
Yeah,
it's not serious because these aren't my plans.
yeah. So gosh, well, sometimes when you see white like that on a leaf, it could mean bleaching. So that's like sun bleaching, where they might have gotten too much sun and they get kind of like a burnt spot that becomes kind of translucent. It becomes kind of
Okay.
white. In terms of a pest that could do something like that, gosh, I mean, yeah, I would only think like a thrip
So
or
it
weird.
started on the older one, and the older one, when they brought it over to the house, it was probably freezing out. So I was thinking that it was kind of like a frostbite, but now it's affecting ones that have grown in the house
Yeah.
that I grew from Carm. So
And
that's why.
it's not something that you could wipe off or anything, right? That's how the leaf is. Is
Yeah.
it okay? Because it doesn't look like something like powdery mildew, for instance. Powdery mildew kind of spreads on the leaf. It kind of makes it look white, but you could literally clean it
I
off.
can't feel it.
Um,
Yeah.
so that's
That's why I
so
thought it was like frostbite originally, and I've removed the clips off and at the base of the stem, but now there's more and more.
yeah. Because usually when it's frost damage, that growth, basically the cells freeze and die, and then you have sections of the plant that become kind of black. They kind of just die off. But I have the way that the white patches are on that's very, very different from something
Yeah.
I've seen before. I wouldn't even probably think it could just be an actual like disease. It could be some sort of virus because I
Okay,
don't think a
so
pest could scrape off like things, it's so
they
weird.
do get, I move them back and forth between the Western Sun and a grow light. I don't know if that makes a difference, that it could be some kind of scorching of
I mean, it
something.
could, so see my first thought was scorching. But if you're seeing it appear on the new growth, so has the new growth been exposed to that type of sunlight? Or
Actually,
because my
yeah.
first thought, yeah.
Yes, I have moved that to the Western Sun as well.
That
Though
is
there is one that, again, it's one I'm babysitting for, that I have not moved, and it is in direct sun, and it does not have any.
Okay. So gosh. I mean, just to be safe, I would probably say to cut those leaves.
I've been trimming some.
Yeah, just to cut them and then avoid having them touch other plants. So like physically touch other plants, and also
Yeah.
kind of wash your hands in between handling that and
Oh.
another, in case it is some type of
Which I rarely ever do. Yeah.
so
It's like, yeah.
because that's so odd.
Yeah, so I'll trim them now. One of the owners is coming back on the 28th. So, but the plants are 3 to 4 times the size than when they brought it over.
Okay.
So if I cut some off, they'll still be happy, I think.
Yeah. Linda is actually putting in the chat that she has an issue with her oxalis the same. And that you can't scrape it off, and the spots are like dead cells, they're like translucent. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have you personally seen it kind of spreading, or is it that you just noticed and it hasn't kind of gotten bigger, or it's just kind of the same
Oh,
size
no,
the
it's
whole time?
totally spreading. It was
Oh, it
only
is
on
totally
one
spreading. Okay.
original plant, and
Okay.
I thought it was frostbite.
Yeah.
So no, it's growing,
Mhm.
because I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 plants.
Okay.
Not all mine.
Yeah. So
4
yeah.
belong to other people.
I don't think it could be a pest. I think it could actually be like a pathogen.
That sounds worse.
Yeah. Yeah. um, let me see if I can. I'll try to see if I can find maybe like oxalis, white patches spreading. It has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, white spots can point to a pest issue, too much direct light, yep, and powdery mildew, yep, it's not powdery mildew, definitely not. Oh, let me share my screen.
So this is the this is better that I bring the plant.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wondering if it might be fungal, but fungal usually has more of
There's
kind of
not
like
much
a
underneath.
radiating. Yeah, it's like only the top layer of tissue.
Yeah, until it gets like, this is just the beginning. This is brand new in like the past couple of days. So I'm starting to panic, because the owner of this one is coming back in 10 days. But see, this has, I don't know if you can see it. This has some underneath.
There we go.
Yeah.
Huh. So I wonder if there's, especially if someone else has the same issue, I'm wondering if there was maybe,
And then it kind of totally disintegrates the leaf. Oh,
this kind of looks like it, right?
but worse, yes.
Yeah. I have never seen this before. Let's see.
And it's not on the purple one. So. Yeah, but it's not that.
Yeah, it's not that. It looks kind of, this kind of has like a green kind of looks to it.
Yeah.
It has more of like a, like this kind of splotching, kind of more like that.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Huh.
Yes.
Let's,
But not so dramatic. I mean, but see the I'm pointing to the screen, but it's not as dramatic, so they may have enhanced the photo to make the green and white. But yeah, it's not that white.
Yeah, inspect for thrips. Yeah, because thrips, what they do is that but they wouldn't cause those type of like perfect little circles like that, or kind of like those oblong kind of shapes along the edges. It's kind of like they'll scrape the tissue.
And
So right now I'm caught between it doesn't look like thrip damage that I've seen before. But it could also, but I'm leaning more towards some type of pathogen. So especially if it's spreading like that.
and this is a plant from the store. And actually, it looks a little different, but this is this looks like the photo. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see it here.
It
It's kind of
has-
dancing around here.
There we go. But see how it's happening like along the edges? So
Yes, that's where it starts.
yeah, that is so weird.
But this one has been in the sun the whole time. The western sun.
Yeah, so I don't think it's sunburn. Yeah. It's just in the way that it's being caused on the leaf.
Yeah.
I don't think it's thrips.
Mhm.
I mean, you could definitely really kind of check to see if you see anything crawling on the undersides.
Yeah.
But my gut's leaning more towards pathogen. So something like a fungus, or even something potentially viral or bacterial, that might be doing that. So what I would say is to try to cut any affected leaves. Again, be very, very careful. Wash your hands so you don't infect another plant. And also your scissors, make sure you spray them with rubbing alcohol.
Got that. I'm doing that.
Great, yes. So before and after use, so that you're not cross-contaminating. But I've never seen that before. I've totally
Yeah.
never seen that before.
Just so, when I started with the plants I'm babysitting, and I said, well, they're not doing all that great, and I bought one, just to supplement, and then I grew some from the Carms,
Mhm.
and they were all 10 times the size. I mean, the ones from the Carms, they're growing wild, and now they have this white stuff.
So weird.
So yeah, I will trim them off. That's what I'll
Yeah.
do as soon as I get off this Zoom call.
Yeah, just trim them
Definitely.
off just to be safe. It's still really early in the season, so even if you cut kind of close to the soil, they usually will put out more growth.
Okay.
So you don't
Thank
have to
you.
worry about that. Yeah, you're welcome. Let me know. I'll see if I can find anything, but I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
That looks so odd.
Yeah.
And especially if other folks are talking about their own shamrocks and having a similar issue, I'm wondering if it was something that they might have come into contact, with
Yeah.
in the
can't scrape-
nursery,
Yeah.
and that maybe it's a very widespread issue.
Mine
I
had-
hope not.
Oh, see, she said the same thing. I bought mine as well. When I put direct Western sunlight. Linda. Mhm.
Okay. Arlene, that last Google search said used alcohol. Do you mean that the person said that they used alcohol? I'm not seeing what you are mentioning.
Oh, it was me, Jocelyn,
Oh,
Linda.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen. with mine because they had actually this, they started it, I think, in their nursery under the greenhouse, you know, like, because it was before St. Patrick's Day. And then they put it in their office. So, and then when I took it home, I was really careful because I said, well, it was in their office. And so it didn't have very much sunlight. And then I started gently moving it, you know, further and further toward a window. Well, all the rest of the windows where I've been wintering over all my plants were occupied. And so the dining room window wasn't. And that's the western window. And so I put it, you know, in that window. And as soon as I did that, these spots started appearing. So I don't know. I mean, it's a mystery to me. So I've just pulled all of my little leaves off, and mine haven't been very bad. But yeah, they tend, you know, they're just random polka dot little spots here and there, kind of a tannish color, not exactly clear, but it's
Right.
translucent.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just pulled them all off and said, well, that's that. I'll keep it all in the, you know, because there's no other plants in the dining room. I'll just keep it over there. I can't find anything, no thrips, no scale, nothing.
No.
So
Mhm.
I'm just mystified too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. All righty. I'm
All
gonna
right,
say,
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. And Arlene, I look back in the comments. Hold on, Arlene. I have a Hypoestes phyllostaca that is pink and green. Now they are dried up and dead. Oh, I am totally failing with the plant. Are you good in resurrection help? Well, with Hypoestes, so Hypoestes, they are very thirsty plants. They like bright light situations, but they can get easily burned. So it's kind of like a you know, bright light could mean northern or eastern light. If it's like western or southern, it's going to be pulled away. But if, I mean, if the plant's completely dead, but if the stalks are still alive, the roots are still alive, and there's still some growth, yeah, you can totally bring that bring that back. You can try. I would say to kind of keep it out of yeah, direct light for now, especially if it's just kind of roots with a couple little shoots left. So you're going to want to kind of pull it away so that it can start to kind of push out that new growth. Because yeah, it'll you can bring plants back from the brink. You absolutely can. But you have to make sure that the roots are healthy and there's still some growth in there. But then I don't understand what you mean by that last Google search said used alcohol.
Oh, yeah, no, I was talking about the share that you had.
Uh-huh.
I was reading the comment at the end. It said they use alcohol to wipe down the leaves or something like that. The thing you were presenting. That's what I'm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if alcohol would cause that type of damage to a leaf. But yeah, because I've used alcohol, gosh, on even begonias, on like jeweled orchids. I've even used it on like some ferns. But I've never seen it cause like a white or anything. I mean, it's never caused damage for any of my plants.
Oh, no, I was just wondering because it said that I think that's what they use to remedy it, and
Oh,
then
to
just wipe
remedy it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it is a pest, I definitely do use rubbing alcohol on my plants. Every time I water a plant, and I have that plant in front of me, I go ahead and spray that down with rubbing alcohol, even if it looks perfectly healthy, just as a preventative measure. So in case there might be something on there that I don't know about, I want to wipe it out before it has a chance to take on a hold, you know. And so I like to spray. I'll spray them. I'll kind of do a little spray on top of the leaves, and I'll spray behind the leaves as well, because a lot of pests like to hang out on the back side of the leaf on so yeah. Holly, yes. Check these plants out. Hold on. Let me add a spotlight here. Oh, you're welcome, Marley. Why did it do that? Hold on. I'm gonna try to add the spotlight again. Every time I try to put spotlight, it keeps kind of tossing. Here we go. Let's try this again. There we go. Oh, yes, the weird one. Oh, that is so, hold on, I think you're muted. That was the weird one. I have not found anything, nothing on that. The closest thing I had found was a potential flower stalk, but that usually happens when they're much more mature. I have no idea what that plant is doing. That is such a weird.
4 of them died out and turned brown, and then 4 more came up as a little small one in the middle. So these are new ones.
Holy
I don't know.
moly.
I usually just bottom water or something. I don't know. I usually just water this plant, and no, you can't bottom water it because it doesn't have that. It's got a little cup at the bottom or something. Anyway, a reservoir. And so I don't know what's going on. This just keeps popping up. And this one looks a little bit stronger than the last one because it's got like this longer pieces coming out of here instead of just the little ones.
That definitely looks like thicker. Like it looks like it's thicker and it's actually kind of standing up. The other ones were kind of like like more tentacles.
Yeah, these things have thorns on them, like little hard thorns on the
So weird.
thingamajigs. And I just want to show you because the palm looks like it's getting bigger. I don't know. I've been transplanting my plants because they've been in the same thing for like 4 years since the coronavirus, because I just started growing plants since the coronavirus, really. Because I didn't think I could grow plants. But you were talking about, isn't this a Scanopolis, whatever that thing was that you were talking
so that's a Scindapsus, so that's a Scindapsus trubii moonlight. Yes.
I just repotted this, and it's in this kind of pot. The last pot was a little plastic pot about, like the store size, the really small size. So this has just been repotted probably 1 week. So I hope it doesn't get all upset.
Yeah, I mean, if it's been a week and it looks like that, I think you're in the clear. They are definitely thirstier. So they like those kind of pots.
Okay.
You're totally
Good.
fine. Yeah, versus these types of Scindapsus. So these the like the Pictus, or let me spotlight myself. There we go. So like these the Scindapsus, like Argeus or the Pictus, these really like to like fully dry out. Those trubii I've found that they like to start to dry out and then they want to get watered. They're a little bit more finicky. They're so beautiful. They're so beautiful. Moonlights are so gorgeous.
I was surprised because in that little bitty pot, it grew so big, like it was just like overflowing, and I wasn't doing nothing to it hardly, but I water my plants every week. Some of them, the the ones like the mother-in-law tongue and the aloe vera, I don't water them but once a month, like some of those plants, I don't know, I have to show you that other plant. But anyway, this one is a big plant. So this fell off of one
Oh,
of
your
the,
ZZ. Uh-huh.
yeah. So I didn't know what to do with it, and it was still green. So I put it in some dirt and some water in this thing, and I hope it kind of like survives. I don't know what.
Yeah. I mean, they take a really long time to root, but it should root for you. Gosh, I have a couple that are currently sitting in little water propagations. And it took a really long time for those roots to come out. But then once the roots do come out, they establish really, really nicely. They push out new growth. So yeah, no.
So the pot that these are in, are each one of those plants separate plants? Because they just were doing their own thing when I repotted them. They didn't seem like it was all one root plant. Like
yeah, so you'll kind of see these potatoes like in there, and it's because they kind of create these bulbous rhizomes. And that's where they have like they store all their energy and their sugars. I do think that more than one shoot might come out of a rhizome, but it's basically per rhizome, it's like a section. And so usually you could separate those out, in terms of like grabbing one rhizome with another one, kind of separating those out. But I think they can get more than one shoot.
I'm gonna show you the two plants, the one that this comes from and that other one, but they're in the other room. So
yeah, no worries.
Keep talking.
Yeah. Oh, that just reminded me. I will guys, I got something what was it? On Friday it came in. I got them at the on Facebook Marketplace. And I was literally, when I got the ding on my phone that it came, I was like a little kid, and I dropped everything that I was doing. I ran downstairs, I brought up the box, and I was like, like I was losing my mind. I'll show you in a second what I got. Holy moly, that is a huge ZZ.
It just grew like this, so I knew I had to repot it because it was in a little bitty pot. And I didn't see the potato thing, but they're all like they just feel like they're individual plants. And I had to put this proper prop up thing so some of them wouldn't be leaning, because after they got replanted, they seemed like they weren't that stable.
Yeah, when they do get they can get super large. They will start to kind of go over. So that's normal. So you kind of start to see them kind of arch as they get larger. That is so neat.
So is this a good pot for this size?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. They like to be a little snug. And they love terracotta. Terracotta is a good option for ZZs.
And I don't know what this one is, but this is one of the ones that I have a hard time figuring out. I try to water it once a month, but I'm not sure. But this is in the original pot that it came in.
So that is some type that appears to be like some form of epiphytic cactus, like a floriferous cactus. So maybe a ripsalis. I think it's a hadioria. It could be a ripsalis. So it has those little edge notches. So usually those develop flower buds.
Yeah, and that's the one I was taking off the buds last time.
Yeah, there we go.
That it was, I was thinking that it was an insect.
Yeah, so those little notches that you see, like the little scallops, they will develop flower buds along those. So that's perfectly normal. Those are super cool. So super, super cool. So it's a type of epiphytic cactus. They are thirstier than terrestrial cacti, but they do really, really well. You can keep them in nursery pots. That's totally fine. And like a good soak, and you know, they're pretty easygoing. They're lovely plants. But yeah, definitely let them flower, because they usually have some really dramatic flowers.
Okay, that I'm looking forward to that. And so should they be kind of dry between watering them?
They like to dry out. But I mean, usually with those types of when it's summer, they can end up being watered even like once a week. During the winter, it can be about every 2 weeks or so. I mean, it looks beautiful, so I would keep whatever schedule you're currently you know, putting it on. But they don't like to stay moist all the time. They do like to, you know, kind of like dry, kind of get drowned, dry, drown, like
Okay,
that
all
kind
right.
of cycle.
All right, and that sounds like what I'm doing, because I just discovered sometimes I look and check and see if the water is still in there, and I did this on Saturday and it's still water in here. I got to pour this out. I usually check them all, because if they don't take the water, I don't want them to be sitting in the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I love that you're also using the that method, because that's what I use with a lot of our plants.
Yeah, these come in handy.
Yes, even in these pots. So this is what I love about this. So these pots, so when you go in here, they're in there too. Like what I did is I just do that, and it just makes it so easy to water, because then I just take it, I put the water and know how much, about 1/3, and then I put the plant back, and I can not worry about it. So because I know it's about 1/3, and that's more than enough for this guy. And this was a part of a cutting that established, and it's been putting out new leaves. It was a big section from this guy. So this big guy here,
I got that. I think I got that one.
Oh yeah, these are great. I think this guy's gonna be up for a watering soon, because it's starting to. But this big guy, I took a cutting, and I was growing it here, so I had these leaves that kind of got messed up. So I was like, I'm just gonna put them as a cutting, and yeah, they started putting out new leaves. It's established. These are, I love.
Is that that's a synapsis?
Synapsis, yeah. So it's a cousin of the one that you have.
Oh, let me show you this one. Is this it? Excuse me.
Yes.
I got this from somebody. It was a piece of a plant, and it was dying in somebody's office, and you know, I just put it in this pot. I don't think oh yeah, it was in a glass jar, and then I put it in a pot. Anyway, some of you know, he had several plants that I'd never seen before, so I took a piece. Some of the pieces survived, and some of the pieces, you know, they didn't last. But I just like that different print on them, so I said, let me see, can I grow that? And the other one that I got from him that actually lived is this one.
Ooh.
It's got the
yes.
You said it was, I think you said it was a philodendron.
Yes, so it's a philodendron Brazil. Absolutely beautiful.
So yeah, I'm just surprised, Mike, that I have a green thumb. I mean, maybe that's a fantasy. You just put some dirt and it grows. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and for all of you, you know, who are, I always hear that I don't have a green thumb, and you obviously you do. A green thumb is something you work towards. It's literally a lot of killing plants to find out what they like, and you know, until you kind of get it right. So I have killed my fair share of plants. I have quite a lot of plants that I get for the first time. I do my research on it. I'm like, all right, cool. I think I have this figured out. And then I don't. and then I'm like, oh, never mind. But I really like the plant and I want to try again. And so I'll find it again and try again, and have that plan. So that's why, you know, like things happen, pests happen. You know, sometimes you might just forget about the plant. That has happened to me, especially for plants that are much more sensitive. And I'm like, oh, crap, I had a really busy week and I completely forgot to water it. And now it's like 2 weeks and the poor thing is like, you know, so it can totally happen. You know, you just it's a whole learning experience. So you're definitely folks out here reviving, you know, like the reviving of that orchid, and with your cuttings and everything, growing everything. So you guys definitely have green thumbs. So don't question that.
Thank you.
So much for sharing. And thank you for, yes, Jamie is saying, keep giving us updates on that weird plant. Like, yes,
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
so weird. So odd. And I will show everyone what I was just mentioning that I got. So if, here we go. I'm going to show you what. This is. All right. Okay. So this is like a regular pine cone, right? So I was reading about the world's largest and types of pine cones and things. And I remember a few years ago, pre-pandemic, when I was working, doing volunteer work at the New York Botanical Garden, I got to see the world's heaviest pine cone. And it is indeed heavy. It's crazy. It's caused death because it's hit people. And it's called the Coulter pine. Super cool. But then I was learning about the world's longest pine cones, which are sugar pine cones. And I guess, your phone, I don't know, your phone knows. It knows. And I got an ad for someone selling sugar pine cones. And I said, no, this is unbelievable. So they were selling a pair and I said, I need to have these. I need to have them. So without further ado, for those of you who are on the Facebook group, you probably saw a picture of them. But this is just for folks who haven't seen them. These are sugar pine cones. Isn't that neat? It's huge. Look at this. These are huge. And I got a pair of them. I was freaking out. I was like a little kid. I was like, oh my God. And Brian was like, are you okay? I was like, so these are the world's longest pine cones. So they're super light, super light, but they are huge, absolutely huge. I'm so excited. Brian was like, where are we putting them? I was like, I don't know. But I wanted them. These are super cool. Right now they're on the bookshelf, so they might end up living there. But so what I didn't realize was they're not only the longest pine cone, but they're apparently the tallest type of pine, which I mean would make sense for the size of these cones. But super cool. So yeah, I wanted to show you that. Completely forgot until right now. I was like, oh yeah. These are super huge. So it's super awesome. These are not the full size. So I think these are 18 inches, but they can get like, I think 22, something like that. They can get much longer than this. So these were just what he had on hand. And so he was selling both of them for $14. And I said, yes, I want them. So yeah, so now I was like, this is going to be really neat for my students. I'm going to be I'm doing a walk for the City Nature Challenge on Saturday at the Ridgewood Reservoir for folks that are in New York City. It's free, come one, come all. So we're doing a walk, and it's the City Nature Challenge. So we're going to be using the iNaturalist app, and it's literally all around the country. It's a challenge for cities to identify as many plants and animals as they can, and also fungi. So basically it's to promote diversity, biodiversity. And so our goal is to try to identify as many things as we can to kind of bring our overall city score up high. So if you're in New York City, definitely come and check that out. It'll be a lot of fun. There's 3 walks. There's going to be, I think the first one is a birder. So there's going to be like a bird walk. Then I'm doing the plant walk. And then I think the third one is kind of an overall ecosystem type of walk. So there's 3 walks happening at the Ridgewood Reservoir. So it's gonna, I think they kick off early, like 8 a.m. on Saturday until like 1 or something like that. So come join us, get some walking in. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. It's free and it's open to everyone. So yeah, let me know. Oh yes, Tanya. Oh, why is that happening? Hold on. Let me put you back. There we go.
Hi. Yeah, thanks. I ordered something online. I got plant mail, and I just got these 2 little starter plants, and I couldn't tell them apart. I know which one is which now. Now this one, I figure I can just put it in a little pot and put it in a chunky mix, right? I think this is the Vicia. I think I see the little ribs there. And then this other one is so tiny. I'm not sure what I should do with it. Should I keep it in this like potting mix and I don't know what to do. It's so tiny. I'm afraid I shouldn't put it in a pot of aeroid mix. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure. So it's super tiny and there's hardly any roots and it looks like it's probably not even gonna. So I just wasn't sure what I'm supposed to do with something this
small. Yeah. Do you have any of the nursery pots that are super tiny?
I have one that's probably about the size, a little bit bigger than this one.
Okay. Yeah, I would try to find a pot that's that is that size. What in the world is happening? Hold on. There we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, because it's
you're in New York City? Am I correctly?
Yeah. And I have big hands. I'm 6 feet tall, so I have large hands, but this is this is maybe 3 inches tall. It's really small.
Yeah, because I feel like those you might want. Yeah, there's like these little cube nursery pots. I have a bunch.
Okay, here's a shot glass if this is any indication how small it is.
Yeah, that's really tiny. Yeah, I would recommend trying to find like the smallest ones. Are you in Manhattan or Queens? Because I literally have a bunch of these like little pots. I'm happy to give you some.
I'm in Manhattan. I actually have one because I took something out of one. It's a little square pot. It's probably like that big around. It's a little tiny square.
Uh-huh.
Over here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that one should work for
That's not too
the
big for
bigger
this?
one. I think it would be too big for the tiniest one.
Yeah.
Might be okay for the slightly larger one.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured this would go in there, but
Because what I'm thinking is for that one is more like is more like this one,
that's what I have. Yeah, that's
like
what this
a
is.
little. So this one's like super tiny. I think this is like a 2-inch, 1-inch, 2-inch, 2-inch.
And should I use just plain potting mix, or should I, because it's so tiny, isn't this
Yeah,
like
they're
topsoil
so
starter?
tiny. Yeah, so they're since they are so small, they do want more moisture at that size. So I would go with a mix that has a bit more peat in it. So something that's not going to dry out way too fast. So you want to have some air in there, but not something that's gonna completely like desiccate super quick, right? It's something that yeah, so a little bit
Okay.
more peat in there. Yeah.
Okay. I was not expecting this. Okay.
So tiny.
It
I don't
is. It's very
So
tiny.
the other one's a Veii, and is
Yeah.
this green in
This
theory?
is a gloriosum.
Oh, it's a
It's like-
gloriosum. Holy moly.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh. I've never seen one that small.
Oh well. Live and learn. This is nice though. This one is nice. I like this one.
Yeah. Oh, where'd you get those?
On Etsy, sunshine plants, I think it was.
That's awesome. I've never seen them that young. Holy moly.
Okay.
Yeah, they're tough at that age.
Are they? I thought
Yeah.
it would be easier because it'll get used to my
Oh, they
my
will.
planting skills.
Yeah. It's just they can, so just remember that. So you don't want them to completely dry out. So just don't they don't want to be soaking wet, but at the same time they don't want to go like completely brick dry.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just kind of you have to watch them.
Watch them. All right. I can do
But
that.
enjoy them because no, and yes, so that is a pro of getting them that young. They will acclimate to your space. They'll go through growing pains. They'll probably drop leaves and then they'll put out new leaves. And that will be better acclimated to your space, and that does indeed make them much more resilient. It's like they're
Okay.
but then watching it's the moisture thing that it's like it's like you feel like you're staring at them. Yes, Linda, fairy plants.
Yes. They're like little Barbie doll plants or something. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
Leslie.
very welcome. And if any of you here in New York City, if you ever like you can't find some type of supply or anything like that, I literally have a closet that's full of terracotta pots and plastic pots and stuff. I'm always happy to share. So if anybody needs, like, I have weird shaped, pots. So I have like the itty bitty pots to like the giant terracotta pots. And so if someone really is like, help me, I'm happy to help. So no worries.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So let me know, because I have more than enough to share. I actually just gave, I just found out about this really wonderful mutual aid group. They're called Plant Exchange. I donated 4 tote bags full of nursery pots of
Oh, wow.
all different sizes. So from like huge big ones to tiny ones. Because a lot of my plants, I have switched them out to these types of pots that they're clear and they have so it's easier for me to see the roots and stuff like that. So it's like I had so many nursery pots, like a ridiculous amount of nursery pots. And so I was like, okay, I can't keep these all. I have so many already. So I kind of grabbed a bunch. And yeah, so plant exchange, they're super cool. And they basically get plants to people that otherwise might not be able to afford them. They give away seedlings and things like that. So I was really happy. I was like, oh, I'm so glad this goes to a good cause, because I don't like throwing pots away if they're good. It hurts. It hurts to do that, because I'm like, but there could have been a plant, in here for someone. So yes, check them out. They do events, they do like plant swaps and things like that. So yeah, they're really, really cool. So check them out. Plant exchange, and it's plant and then X change. So no E. But they're on Instagram. Super, super cool. Synth, I picked up a really big heavy Coulter pine cone with super nasty prickles on the end of each cone scale in the forest 2 days ago on a wildflower jaunt up Figueroa Mountain. It's so cool. That is so neat. Oh man. I got so excited about these 2 sugar pine cones that I actually went ahead and ordered a Coulter pine cone off of eBay. So I found one for like 12 bucks. And I was like, yes. So that one is soon to come. So I was like, okay, if I have the longest ones, I need to get, I always wanted one. And I think this was just finally the push to see them. No, I don't no, Holly, you can't propagate from the cones. So once they're open, so they've dropped the seeds, so there's no seeds left. But yeah, so they basically, so the way with the cones is that they basically are sealed shut, right, originally. And they have kind of like a resin that kind of works like a glue that holds these kind of shut. And then as they start to dry out in the sun, and just with overall weathering, water, air, things like that, it starts to kind of deteriorate that resin seal, and then they pop open, and then the seeds can fall out. But these are, usually, they're like this or something, the seeds, they're also very yummy seeds to a lot of birds, so that we'll grab them up. There are certain types of coniferous trees, though, like the sequoia, giant sequoias, and different trees like that, where that resin seal is so shut. It's such a strong resin that they have to actually be burned off. And so like wildfires and things are part of their actual life cycle. So they want to be exposed to fire temperatures for that resin seal to pop kind of open and for those seeds to come out. So they literally have to get burned. So there's some that, some of those trees that they want that they need fire to open those up. Oh, Holly says, I just remembered when I saw the small plant, can you tell me about this one? Sure. I'll do that, and then I have to hop off. Let me see here. How do I put this? There we go. Spotlight. There we go. Okay. Oh, Synth, you're right. I could have just asked for someone.
This is my donkey ear, and it was in like a little, when I got it, a little hard, like almost like a big rock with some clay black soil. How and like it got big, and one of the leaves fell off. This one seems like it's drying out now, but it was like I needed to repot it, but because it was in something, it like little bitty chunk, like, and I said, can that grow? So I don't know too much about how to grow this, but it's getting some new leaves. So can you tell me anything about that?
Yeah. So it's a kalanchoe. And so these are pretty easygoing. They're really great succulents. With the donkey ears and stuff. So those you can they like to dry out. So I water mine about every 2 weeks or so. What you're seeing is that new growth, and so basically that big leaf is kind of, storing up some excess energy in there, and it's gonna kind of grow that new plant from the base. So you might see that mother leaf kind of just go, and it'll just kind of continue going there. So I wouldn't change how you're watering it or anything like that. Just because it looks tiny, you can keep going because it has an established root system. So keep treating it the same, and those leaves will start to push out larger leaves. So you might see like a little one, but it'll start growing. Those can come back. So sometimes even just cut from, like, completely cut from the stalk, and they'll come back. So no worry.
Wow, because I didn't hardly see any roots when I transplanted it. So I said, I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
And before you leave, I'm gonna just show you this. You remember this little plant, and it had the little bait
the
thing?
snake plant. Yeah.
How big that got? I don't know what to do. I don't think it's ready to repot, is it?
No. I would let them completely fill that pot. So
Okay.
you want to see no space.
And this
Oh,
what
your
happened to that
Schiflera.
tree.
Oh my gosh.
It was little when I showed it to you the first time. So anyway, I just want you to see those.
Yeah, thank you. That is a gorgeous umbrella tree. That is so gorgeous. That deep green, like that forest green, that's really, really pretty. Seriously, look at that. Whoa. Oh, and it looks great from all angles. That's beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let me answer these last couple questions and then I'll hop off. But yeah, Synth, you're totally right. I should just ask folks. So if any of you are from in Southern California, if you guys ever find some really cool punk, yeah, that's so cool. That's so true. Gabby, what is your opinion on sugar water and for plants? I hear totally opposing views. Is it good to aid in like repotting shock? Good question. I personally would not recommend sugar water, only because that can end up feeding other things. So I wouldn't put sugar water in my plants. And that's if because then it's this straight sugar. So what ends up happening is that it can potentially feed like any fungus or bacteria. I just think it would just I would rather feed the plant, because the plant's producing sugars and things like that. And if the issue is with the roots, it's not going to be effectively able to really uptake that sugar as effectively. And so it's like a bunch of just sugar kind of encapsulating, kind of surrounding the roots. And I just feel like it might be a recipe for disaster. You might be end up feeding things that you don't want to be feeding, basically. So I personally wouldn't. Oh yeah. And umbrella plants. Oh, I'm so sorry. So that my umbrella plant looks awful. How do I care for it? I mean, they're really great plants. They like a lot of sunlight. Definitely a nice, well-draining mix too. But they can be a little thirstier. So I've found, like, with the Schifleras that I've had, it's like I was watering them once a week. They would dry out super fast. Yeah, but the thing too I noticed is if the humidity dropped, they would crisp up, like the leaves, the edges would crisp up real bad. But I think like 40, 50% humidity ends up working really, really well. But all right, but thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I think I got everybody's questions. I truly appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in and also participating in the excitement. So it's always fun to, any excuse to talk about plants. It's always a lot of fun, and it's trying to show you different parts of the house. So so I was telling Brian, I was like, I've done classes in the living room. I've done a few now in the kitchen, and I was like, this is another side of our living room. And so you can see so Halloween decor is our house decor. So we have so many skulls around our house. They're everywhere. So we have it's a lot of like life and death. I think that's the big theme here. And I've been having this little moss terrarium that I had shared that I had gotten. It is taking off. So let me see here. So it is all this is new growth. It is just loving it. So I put it right here so it gets light, but it's kind of blocked by all of these plants. So it's not full sun, but it gets this really nice ambient light, and it's look at that, all new growth. Absolutely beautiful. Loving it so far. So I just check on it, make sure it's nice and keep it moist. And it has this really cool, like you can see the condensation, but it makes it look like it's this like other world, this like mist with a little mountain cliffside type of thing going. I really love it. And I'm super excited. I'm gonna see if I can actually find the seller. I took one of her cards, but she makes orchid terrariums as well, and I kind of left wanting to get one. So I want to see if she happens to ship them. I think she I'm gonna see if she is located in New York, because I would totally go pick it up. But all right.
Jocelyn, where you get the skeleton head?
This was a funny story. So I saw this on Facebook a bunch of years ago, and I couldn't. It was something from, I think it was from like Jones or some store like that. And then I couldn't find it. I looked for it, couldn't find it. And then it was back in like 2018, I think, 2019. I went to Colorado for my cousin's wedding, and I went into Ross. And they had this just sitting on the shelf, and I freaked out because I said, this is literally the skull I had taken a screenshot of that I really wanted. And so I got it, and it's fake. It's very obvious. I got it. There you go. For $6.99 from Ross. I was just sitting there on the shelf. And I absolutely loved it. This really cool, Halloween-y. There's a bunch of like of the astrological signs and things like that. I thought that was super neat.
Man.
And I put it into my bag for the flight home. And we got stopped by security, and they just they put it through, and then they go, come to the side. And I'm like, if it's the skull, it's fake. It's a fake skull. And they're like, just give us a moment. And they literally were calling people over, and they unzipped it, and they were taking it out. And I was like, it's very obvious, guys. This is fake. This is a fake skull. But it was so funny. They had 4 people looking at it. And I was like, yeah, this was so funny. And then more to the story was that I had taken a picture. I had posted about it on Facebook, and that it had gotten us stopped by security. And really, really funny post. And then I it was beginning of 2020, it was January 2020. I had done an event, and I was tabling, and I used this as one of my decorations. And a girl stopped by, and she goes, oh, that looks just like this skull. I was online to get on a flight, and somebody got stopped, and they pulled this out of their bag, and I went, wait, what? I was like, it was a flight from Colorado to New York City, and she was like, yeah, and I was like, oh my God, that was me. This is the skull. And so we found each other again. She went to the event that I happened to be tabling, and the skull brought us together again. So I thought that was really funny. But I love that piece. It's great. But yeah, I have a bunch. I have like that one. I have another one here on the other side that's like the different parts of the skull. And yeah, so I have a bunch of these like really interesting ones. So yeah, they're all over the house. But yeah, have a bunch of plants here. That western window, this huge philodendron tripartite behind me that has been going wild. Yeah, so I'll be doing this. I'll be showing you different parts of of the house as we go. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Maple is playing with his little crimpy, it's like a little aluminum type of ball thing. So if you hear that, that's what's happening in the background. But thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe, everyone. Bye for now. You're very, very welcome, everyone. Bye. Meow to you too, buddy. Hello. Where'd your bowl go? Hello. Hold on, you want to say bye? Come. Here we go. Say bye. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great week. Stay safe.